There's a quiet lie many people are living with. It whispers every morning when you struggle to get up. It echoes when your to-do list feels heavier than your body. It shows up when you scroll, procrastinate, or sit in silence, feeling guilty for doing nothing. The lie is this: you're lazy. But what if that isn't true? What if laziness isn't the problem at all? What if the real issue is something far deeper and far more human? The Stoics had a word for this state: not laziness, not weakness, not failure, but exhaustion of the soul. And if you're experiencing it, this video isn't here to shame you, it's here to explain you. Because the most dangerous thing isn't being tired, it's believing something is wrong with your character when what's actually happening is that you're depleted. Before we go any further, let me say this clearly. If you've ever felt like you're falling behind in life, if you've ever felt unmotivated but deeply frustrated about it, if you've ever judged yourself harshly for not doing more, you are not broken. You are overwhelmed. And the Stoics understood this long before modern psychology gave it a name. Marcus Aurelius, a man who ruled an empire under constant pressure, wrote something that sounds almost shocking today. He didn't tell himself to push harder. He didn't accuse himself of laziness. Instead, he warned against mental overload, the quiet draining of one's inner reserves. Because when the mind is constantly under siege, the body eventually refuses to move. That refusal looks like laziness, but it isn't. It's self-preservation. Here's the hard truth most people never hear. You don't lose motivation first. You lose emotional energy first. Motivation is not a personality trait. It's a symptom of having enough internal fuel. And right now, many people are running on empty without realizing it. Think about your day. Before you've even done anything meaningful, your mind has already worked overtime. You've processed news you can't control. You've absorbed other people's opinions. You've compared your life to curated images. You've replayed old conversations. You've worried about futures that don't exist yet. By the time it's time to act, there's nothing left. And then comes the judgment. I should be doing more. Why am I like this? Everyone else seems fine. This is where the real damage happens, not from exhaustion, but from mislabeling it. The Stoics warned that when we misinterpret our inner state, we fight the wrong enemy. You don't need more discipline right now. You need clarity. Because discipline applied to exhaustion doesn't make you stronger. It makes you resent your own life. Epictetus taught that the first act of wisdom is correct diagnosis, not forcing action, not self-punishment, but understanding what is actually happening within you. So, let's be honest. If you were truly lazy, you wouldn't feel guilty. You wouldn't care. You wouldn't be watching a video like this, searching for answers. Laziness doesn't ache. Exhaustion does. Emotional exhaustion shows up quietly. You still show up for others. You still think deeply. You still care, maybe too much. But when it comes to your own progress, your system shuts down. Not because you don't want to move forward, but because you've been carrying too much for too long, without rest, without boundaries, without release.
The Stoics believed that a man can endure almost anything, except constant inner conflict. And modern life is full of it. You're expected to be productive, calm, ambitious, kind, disciplined, informed, and successful, all at once. No pause. No silence, no space. Eventually, something gives, and when it does, society calls it laziness. Stoicism calls it imbalance. This is why forcing yourself isn't working. You're not resisting effort, you're resisting overload. And until you understand that, every attempt at self-improvement will feel like self-betrayal. This is the philosophical warning. If you keep treating exhaustion as laziness, you will slowly lose respect for yourself. You'll start believing you are someone you're not, and that belief is far more damaging than being tired. In the next part, we'll explore why emotional exhaustion is invisible, why it's so easy to miss, and how the Stoics protected themselves from burning out while still carrying responsibility. Not by doing less, but by caring correctly. Stay with me, because clarity comes before strength.
There is a quiet lie many people believe. It says, if I were stronger, I would be doing more. If I were disciplined, I wouldn't feel this way. If I were better, I wouldn't be stuck. The Stoics would call this lie dangerous, not because it's dramatic, but because it's subtle. Marcus Aurelius warned that we suffer more from our judgments than from events themselves, and this judgment, I am lazy, is one of the most damaging a person can carry. Because once you believe it, you stop listening to yourself. Let's be clear about something most people never say out loud. Lazy people don't feel guilty for resting. Emotionally exhausted people do. Lazy people don't replay their failures at night. Emotionally exhausted people can't turn their mind off. Lazy people don't want to try. Emotionally exhausted people want to try but feel empty when they do. That difference matters. And if no one has told you this yet, hear it now. Your exhaustion is not a moral failure. It is a signal. The Stoics believed the soul could be overworked just like the body. Seneca wrote about men who were busy to the point of sickness, not from physical labor, but from constant inner tension. That tension is everywhere today. You are expected to care deeply, react quickly, perform constantly, improve endlessly, stay calm publicly, and suffer quietly. No ancient human nervous system was built for this. So when your energy disappears, your focus weakens, and your motivation fades, it is not because you are broken. It is because you have been spending energy you never restored. Here's the part most people miss. Emotional exhaustion does not arrive loudly. It does not announce itself. It disguises itself as procrastination, numbness, overthinking, doom scrolling, I'll do it tomorrow, losing interest in things you once cared about. And then the world labels you lazy, undisciplined, unmotivated. Eventually, you label yourself. This is where the real damage begins. Epictetus taught that the first step to freedom is accurate perception. If you misdiagnose the problem, every solution will hurt you instead of help you. Imagine telling a wounded soldier to run faster. Imagine blaming a dehydrated man for collapsing in the heat. That is what people do when they shame themselves for emotional exhaustion. Let me ask you something, honestly. When was the last time you felt truly at ease? Not distracted, not entertained, not numbed, but at ease. For many people, the answer is uncomfortable, because the exhaustion didn't start yesterday. It's been building for years. Unresolved disappointments, unspoken resentment, trying to be strong for everyone, carrying expectations that were never yours. The Stoics were very clear about this. What you carry internally determines how heavy life feels externally. You may not be lazy, you may be overloaded with invisible weight. Here is another uncomfortable truth. Modern productivity culture punishes recovery. Rest is framed as weakness, stillness is framed as laziness, reflection is framed as wasted time.
But Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful men in history, wrote reminders to himself about retreating into the mind for restoration. Not escape, restoration. He understood something we've forgotten. If you do not choose when to rest, your body and mind will choose for you. And when they choose, it rarely looks gentle. It looks like burnout. It looks like numbness. It looks like losing interest in life. Now listen closely. This is important for retention and for your audience. Emotional exhaustion is not cured by motivation. Motivation is fuel. Exhaustion is an empty tank. Adding more fuel to a broken engine doesn't fix it. This is why motivational content sometimes makes exhausted people feel worse. They want to act, they just can't, and then they think they are failing again.
The Stoics would tell you to stop fighting your state and start understanding it. Ask better questions. Not, why can't I get my life together, but what has been draining me without my consent? That question changes everything, because exhaustion often comes from misplaced responsibility, caring about outcomes you cannot control, absorbing emotions that aren't yours, living according to expectations you didn't choose. Epictetus said it plainly: if you want to be invincible, make sure you do not attach yourself to what is not yours to control. Emotional exhaustion is often the cost of ignoring this rule for too long. You try to manage people, you try to predict outcomes, you try to avoid disappointment, and slowly, quietly, your energy disappears. This is where many people break, not loudly, but internally. They keep showing up, they keep functioning, but the joy is gone, the clarity is gone, the sense of direction is gone, and they think the answer is to push harder. But Stoicism offers a different path, one that actually restores power, not by doing more, but by removing what is unnecessary. In the next part, we are going to talk about something most people avoid: the hidden emotional debts you've been paying every day, and how Stoic clarity helps you stop paying them. Because once those debts are removed, something surprising happens. Your energy starts to return. Your motivation reappears naturally, not forced, not hyped. And you realize you were never lazy. You were just tired in a world that never told you it was okay to stop carrying everything. If this is resonating with you so far, pause for a moment. Take a breath. And if you want to continue this journey, not toward pressure, but toward clarity, stay with me.
There is a quiet moment many people experience but rarely talk about. You wake up. You're not sad. You're not angry. You're not even anxious. You're just empty. No urgency, no excitement, no resistance either. And that emptiness scares you more than stress ever did, because stress feels alive. Exhaustion feels hollow. The Stoics understood this state deeply, even though they lived centuries before modern burnout, notifications, deadlines, and emotional overload. They had a name for it. Not laziness, not weakness, but the soul being overextended. You've been carrying too much for too long, not physically, emotionally. You've been managing expectations that were never yours to hold, absorbing moods that weren't meant for you, reacting to every demand as if it were an emergency, and now your system has done the only thing it can do to survive. It has shut down unnecessary effort. That's not failure, that's self-preservation. Marcus Aurelius warned about this exact danger. He wrote that the mind becomes worn not from work, but from unnecessary struggle, from fighting things outside its control, from rehearsing fears that never arrive, from trying to be everywhere at once. And ask yourself honestly, how many emotional battles are you fighting that bring no real reward? How many thoughts are you entertaining that don't move your life forward? How many roles are you playing simply to avoid disappointing others? This is where exhaustion lives, not in effort, but in misdirected effort. You feel tired because your energy is leaking in 100 directions, and none of them are replenishing you. And here's the uncomfortable truth most people never hear. You don't need more motivation. You don't need discipline. You don't need another routine. You need less emotional weight. The Stoics believed that most suffering comes not from events, but the meaning we assign to them. And exhaustion is often the result of meaning overload. Everything feels important. Everything feels urgent. Everything feels personal. So your nervous system never rests. Think about how often you replay conversations in your mind, how often you anticipate conflict that hasn't happened, how often you prepare defenses for attacks that may never come. That mental tension is exhausting,
not because you're weak, but because you're human. Epictetus taught that peace begins the moment you stop demanding certainty from an uncertain world. But modern life trains us to do the opposite. Be available, be responsive, be alert, be ready, always. And slowly, without noticing, you begin to live in a state of low-grade emotional alarm. Your body doesn't know the difference between a real threat and a perceived one, so it reacts the same.
And eventually, it says, enough. This is why exhaustion often feels like numbness. It's not depression, it's not apathy, it's your system pulling the emergency brake. And here's the Stoic warning that feels personal. If you don't choose where your energy goes, others will choose for you. Not maliciously, but automatically. Every request you say yes to without reflection, every emotional burden you absorb without consent, every opinion you internalize without questioning, they all claim a piece of you, until there's nothing left to give. The Stoics believed in economy of effort. Spend energy only where it aligns with virtue and purpose. Withdraw it from everything else. Not out of bitterness, out of wisdom. You are not meant to respond to everything. You are not meant to carry everyone. You are not meant to solve every problem. And when you try, exhaustion is inevitable. This is the moment many people misinterpret their state and start blaming themselves. I'm lazy. I'm unmotivated. I've lost my edge. But what you've actually lost is emotional clarity. You've been reacting instead of choosing, and the cost of constant reaction is exhaustion. There is a powerful Stoic exercise Marcus Aurelius practiced daily. He would ask himself, what am I carrying today that is not mine to carry? Not tomorrow, not eventually, today. And slowly, deliberately, he would put those burdens down. Expectations, other people's moods, imaginary futures. Because clarity is not about doing more, it's about doing less on purpose. And when you remove unnecessary emotional weight, something unexpected happens. Energy returns, not in a rush, but quietly, subtly. You start wanting things again. You start caring again, but selectively. You start feeling present instead of drained. This is not motivation. This is alignment. And alignment is the opposite of exhaustion. But before that renewal can happen, there's one more truth you must confront. A truth the Stoics never avoided. Now, we'll talk about how to rebuild emotional strength without burning yourself out again, and how to live with calm effort instead of constant strain. Because rest alone won't save you. Only wisdom will. If this is resonating with you, take a moment to like this video. It helps this message reach someone who may be silently carrying too much. And stay with me for the final part. This is where clarity becomes strength.
You've carried the weight long enough. You've ignored the quiet whispers of your own limits, thinking that rest is weakness. But Stoicism reminds us, rest is not weakness. Awareness is not laziness. Calm reflection is not giving up. It is wisdom. Look around you. Everyone is rushing. Everyone is reacting. Everyone is seeking. They judge the pace of your life, your choices, your energy. They do not see the silent battles you fight every day. They do not feel the exhaustion that sits in your chest like a stone. And here's the clarity. You do not owe the world an explanation. You owe yourself understanding. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." In this moment, take that to heart. You are not lazy. You are emotionally exhausted. Your energy is sacred. Your focus is precious. Protect it as the Stoics would protect reason itself. This is the turning point. Emotional exhaustion can masquerade as laziness, as indecision, as failure. It can whisper that you are not enough. But notice how this whisper is just that, a voice. You are not the voice. You are the observer. You are the awareness behind the fatigue. Step back, breathe, and recognize that being drained is a natural consequence of living deeply, feeling fully, and thinking critically in a chaotic world. The people who appear unshakable, disciplined, and successful, they too face exhaustion. The difference is their awareness and practice. They know when to act and when to step back. They know that clarity emerges not from constant motion, but from reflection, pause, and mental discipline. Stoic wisdom gives you permission to reclaim your energy without guilt. Now, reflect on the modern life we live. Notifications, demands, comparisons, and unending obligations, they all siphon your energy. You have been running in circles, trying to keep pace with expectations that were never yours to carry. And yet, in this exhaustion lies your freedom. The moment you recognize that emotional fatigue is not your fault, you step into control. You step into clarity. You step into calm. Here are the actions to internalize this clarity. Create boundaries. Protect your mental space. Say no when necessary. Let silence shield your energy. The world does not need your constant reaction. Reflect daily. Spend even 5 minutes a day observing your thoughts. Are they yours or are they echoes of others? Awareness is your reset button. Honor rest. Stoic rest is intentional. Do not confuse inactivity with failure. Reflect, meditate, walk, recharge. Your strength will return multiplied. Journal your observations. Write down the moments that drain you. Writing is a Stoic tool. It separates the mind from chaos, the observer from the noise. Focus on what you control. Every expectation outside your control is an unnecessary weight. Let them go. Energy spent on external judgment is lost forever. Direct your attention inward, toward your calm, toward your wisdom. When you begin to apply these principles, a remarkable thing happens. Your pace no longer depends on the chaotic rhythm of the world. Your decisions are not swayed by fleeting opinions. Your mind is sharper, your energy focused. People may still mislabel your calm as laziness, but that no longer matters. You have learned the Stoic truth. Power lies in self-mastery, not approval. And here's the final pivot. Emotional exhaustion is temporary. Wisdom is permanent. When you learn to honor your inner state, to respond rather than react, to rest without guilt, you become unshakable. You become a calm force that can navigate chaos with clarity. And that is true freedom. As the sun sets on this reflection, remember, your mind is your fortress. Your energy is your ally. The quiet moments are not emptiness. They are where your power grows. The moments of pause are not weakness. They are where clarity is born. And the moments when you feel drained are not signs of failure. They are reminders that you are human, deeply feeling, and fully alive. Take this clarity into your life today. Step back when needed. Speak only when it matters. Act with precision. And when the world calls you lazy or unmotivated, smile inwardly. They cannot see your strength. They cannot measure your wisdom. They do not know the battles you fight in silence. You are not lazy. You are emotionally exhausted. And now you know how to transform that exhaustion into power, calm, and clarity. If this resonated with you, pause, breathe, and comment your insight below. Share this wisdom with someone who feels weighed down by expectations. Subscribe to the channel for daily Stoic clarity and guidance to navigate life's chaos with calm authority. Stay grounded, stay unshaken, stay Stoic.